It's going to be a difficult task pulling out nearly 20,000 students out of Ukraine because we have to understand the difficulty in which the government of India and the embassy finds itself. The thing is that, Ukraine is a country, normally when something like this happens and you need to evacuate, the country is intact, right? There is some disturbance or something or the other, but by and large, a country is intact. Right now, the problem in Ukraine is that it is under an invasion. The airports are shut. The railway lines are not working. The roads are blocked. There is an enemy army which is advancing. There is a war going on. The Ukrainian government and the Ukrainian security forces, everybody is involved in protecting themselves and their country. You have to understand what is the priority for those people going to be, and how is India going to pull out almost 18 to 20,000 students. Now, it is one thing that if the students somehow manage to reach the border regions, India can facilitate their entry into other countries and then pull them out from there. So it's a very, very difficult situation. And to the extent that the students or Indian citizens are able to reach the borders of Ukraine with other countries, they are being pulled out and they are being evacuated. But otherwise, I don't think there are going to be any easy answers on how this can be done. Maybe once the situation settles down a little bit or there's some ceasefire or something or the other, it might become easier. But at this point in time, it is extremely complicated, and then I think people should also take responsibility for what is happening because the government had issued an advisory as early as February 15th and people neglected it. Now, I can even understand why people neglected it because even Ukraine did not expect a full-scale invasion. So if the Indian students out there came to a conclusion that maybe there will be no war, there will be no invasion, it was understandable. But then that is not the government of India's fault. What do people expect the government of India to do? Forcibly pull out people from there? It can't happen. So it's a very, very difficult situation. But we'll just have to, wait and see how we can find some way out of this. It's very clear that the Russian game plan is regime change. The Russians are now trying to, basically have a very ambitious plan as far as Ukraine is concerned, which is that they want to install their own puppet regime. They want to demilitarize Ukraine. They want to ensure that in the future there is no possibility of any possibility of Ukraine joining NATO. But for the Russian president to call upon the Ukrainian army to depose the government at a time when he is attacking the Ukrainian army, either he thinks that the Ukrainian army is so cowardly that to save itself, it will depose its government and make peace with the Russians. It could be that, or this is just one of those psychological warfare methods which the Russians are using. But otherwise, I don't think this is a serious proposition. But in any case, even if the Ukrainian army or some section of it was to panic and was to try and, depose the government or carry out a coup, I don't think that will be the end of the matter. There will be enormous resentment within Ukraine. I think one thing which the Russians have certainly managed to do is to ensure that Ukrainian nationalism is at its peak. So I don't think there is going to be an easy way out of what Mr. Putin has started. Look, I haven't seen the statement which India made, but I think India is caught in a bit of a pickle. We have very good relations with the West. We have good relations with the Russians. We have interests on both sides. I don't think India in any event will endorse the invasion of Ukraine. I don't think India will condone it. I don't think India will condemn it. India will not condemn it, not because, we favor the invasion, certainly not. But there are certain interests attached, and every country tries and protects its interests to the extent it can. As things stand, maybe the position of neutrality that India has taken, we can maintain it for some more time. But if things really start turning very ugly, I think the government of India might have to recalibrate its position of neutrality and take some more nuanced position which does not exactly favor the Russians. It might not entirely favor the West, but it might not also favor the Russians. As of now, I think it is entirely understandable that India decided to abstain. In any case, when an issue involves a permanent member of the Security Council, to expect that any resolution will be passed and will go against that country is like it doesn't make any sense, because that country will veto it nevertheless. But I think what the Russians need to understand is that they are getting very isolated on this particular issue. Even countries which might be adopting a position of neutrality might not be able to maintain it for very long.